And pick me women, they will die about that dick. And you can't be friends with women like that, honestly. Where does it end? I wanna be with you. I wanna be with you. I wanna be with you. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Chat with T. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here, and just welcome to the family. We have so much to chat about. As always, I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Thursday. We're gonna get right into it. Today's chat is about friendship red flags. Yes, I want to talk about when you are in an unhealthy friendship. I'm like tongue tied today, sorry. And just how to navigate that and just what to look out for so that you know that someone's not really your friend. Because you don't want to be in no one sided friendship. It's not fun. Trust me, I know. I have learned a thing or two, and now I'm going to share that with you. That rhymed. Let's chat. So, one way to know, if you have a toxic friendship or if you are friends with someone and they're like showing some red flags. The first red flag is someone who is a sometimey friend, or like they'll call it a fair weather friend. So, basically, this is someone who is only your friend sometimes. They're only your friends when it benefits them. And when you're down and out, maybe you're going through something, like they're nowhere to be found, right? They're only there for your highs. They are never there for your lows. They're only there for the sunshine and the rainbows, but they're never there for like the rainstorms. You know what I mean? And this can look like you being the only one to initiate all the time. Maybe you're always the one to start up conversations and reaching out to check on them. It's just very, very, very one sided, and it's very, very, very inconsistent. So, one thing I will say is, if you feel like they are trying to take advantage of you, or if you feel like it's just very one sided, you need to establish boundaries or just cut them off, honestly, because if you continue to um, be friends with them, it'll leave you feeling like depleted of your energy because you're constantly always giving and it's just not being reciprocated. We want friendships and relationships to be reciprocal. You shouldn't always be the first one or the only one to just be doing everything, right? They should be pulling their weight also. So the second friendship red flag has to be the jealous or envious friend. I think those go hand in hand, but um this could be someone who like rains on your parade when you mention your accomplishments or just anything that you've achieved. Like you'll be like, "Oh my God, like I ran my first 2 miles yesterday." And they're like, "Oh, I do that all the time." Right? Like they always down you when you say that you've accomplished something, or they always try to like one up you. You know what I mean? And when someone is jealous of you, it's not always about looks. I think when sometimes people think of jealousy, they think of looks. And that's not always the case. It's not always about looks. It could be your style, it could be your knowledge, right? Your intelligence, how you carry yourself. It could just be about your aura and your energy. I've seen that before also. Just they don't like how people respond to you, or they don't like how people, I don't know if center is the word, but they don't like how people fuck with you basically. And, they will look at that as you taking the attention away from them in a sense because they want to be centered, especially when it comes to men. But we'll talk about that later. And the thing is, too, you might not be looking for the attention, but people are giving it to you. And if they're jealous and envious of you, they're not going to like that. They're not going to be appreciative of that because they're like, the spotlight should be on me. But it's like, why does it matter? It's never that serious. Jealousy or envious friends, this can also ugh, told you I'm tongue tied. Jealous or an envious friend can also be someone who just they disguise like shady comments and stuff as like jokes. And I just want to say jealousy isn't a bad emotion because it's a regular emotion, but I think that when jealousy is left unchecked and then you pair it with like other emotional or toxic emotional baggage, it turns into envy, and I just feel like at that point, it's no point in return. And I feel like you should never be competing with your friends. It should never be a competition because we're friends, right? We're not competing against each other. You know what I mean? So I feel like if you're friends with someone who is behaving in that way, you got to cut them loose because we don't compete with our friends. We don't tear our friends down. We don't do any of that. It's not cool. Another friendship red flag is going to have to be the boy crazy women, dick hungry women, and the pick me's. Literally the worst. I just feel like these are the ones that are so desperate. Like they're so desperate, which is dangerous because if you're around someone that is always desperate for something, especially for male attention, oh my God, like this is someone who's going to put dick above their friendship. And you don't want to be friends with someone who's like that. Deeply insecure, they're miserable, and they're just desperately hoping to get picked by anyone. That's how down bad they are. I remember one time I was and I can always joke and like clown myself. Like that's just me and that's just what I do. Whatever. But I don't remember what I said, but I said something around this pick me bitch. And I said something as like a joke about myself. And I guess she took note of that. Weird, just very weird. And a few days later, we were around this boy that she had liked or whatever. And we were just talking, chilling, whatever, nothing crazy. And he was like talking to me or whatever. I don't know if that bothered her because, girl, I do not want your man. I promise you, I do not promise. It wasn't even like that. And she was like, she said what I said about myself, and I can't remember what it was that I said. But I'm just like, and we both just looking at her like, and she just sitting there laughing. And then she like noticed that we weren't laughing. And then she just like, oh, like, what was the reason? What was the reason of you even trying to do that? So I'm sure maybe you've experienced um being around women who would be shady and around men. Like especially when they get around men, they gotta put on a show, honey. Like the circus starts when they're around men. It's crazy how they behave. Because that's how I knew that how that bitch was evil. Because how you gonna steal a joke I made about myself and then regurgitate it a few days later in front of your man trying to be cute? Weird energy. So boy crazy and pick me women, they will die about that dick. And you can't be friends with women like that, honestly. Where does it end? You know what I mean? And I just feel like they would probably even date the men that you've dated, go after the men that you think are cute or have dated. Like there's just no end with them, and you can't be friends with someone like that because again, where does it end? It's so wild to me because there's just so many men out here, yet you're choosing to eat my leftovers. Like, we're not on a men shortage. There's so many out here. Why are you going after the ones that I've dealt with already? That's very weird. It's giving you want to be me, and I'll talk about that later too. That's another one. So, moral of the story is the first time you see your friend trying to like one up you, or you see her trying to do too much for men's attention, they are very male centered. You need to drop them ASAP because they will always try to make you feel like you're beneath them. And you don't need to be friends with someone like that. All right, the next sign of a toxic friendship or a just a red flag friendship. I'm so tongue tied. Another sign of a toxic friendship or just a friendship red flag is going to be the copycat friend. Yes, copycat. So they like to say, or there is a saying that imitation is the highest form of flattery, but I don't agree with that. Like, I don't agree with that at all. I think it's weird, actually. If I see that you're copying me and you're trying to embody me and who I am and just how I am as a person, I'm going to be weirded out by that. I'm going to be really creeped out. Because why? I don't trust women that mimic everything that I do. And you shouldn't either. I don't know, it's just not flattering, I don't feel. It's weird. Right? I feel like stop trying to be the next bitch and be your fucking self. Like we're all uniquely created and designed, and we come on this earth with, and I don't even want to get too deep in it all spiritual and shit, but we are all uniquely created and designed specifically, right? This is how we come here. So it's like you got your unique way of being, I got my unique way of being. Like why are you trying to be the way that I'm being. And I remember homegirl trying to copy me down to a T. I mean, everything. And obviously, she didn't have the whole formula to me. Obviously, nobody ever will. There's only one T. Only one. Only one. There's only one me. And, no one else can be me. I'm one of one. I'm me, basically. So, and I feel like everyone should feel that way. Everybody should be like, I'm one of one. I'm the one. Like, I'm who I am. No one can take that away from me, right? There's only one you. And you have to own that. So if you feel like homegirl is trying to like copy your swag, maybe copy the way you do things, your outfits, to the point where they really is trying to like be you, because you don't have to be friends with anyone who's going to behave that way. Just saying. The final friendship red flag that I want to share with you guys today is the friend who keeps score, or basically the friend who keeps tabs on everything that they've done for you. So this is someone that's keeping notes on you, and everything they've done for you, right? They're going to keep track of it, because later they're going to throw that in your face. I remember this one girl, well, not one girl, we were friends, but she complained about all the shit she did for me. I don't even know what led to this conversation, actually. And she sent me two giant ass paragraphs in like bullet list form. I'm like, oh, period, Miss MLA format. Like, what the hell is going on? I was so confused. I'm like, oh. Here I was thinking that we were looking out for each other, and the whole time she was keeping tabs and just waiting to throw it in my face. Crazy. And I've done so much for her, but I would never, ever, ever, ever try to be like, oh, remember what I've done for you or anything like that. No, that's so weird. You never do it because you're looking for them to owe you later, or remembering, have them remember that they have to pay you back or something like that. Like, I'm never on that type of timing. So to see that she was on that type of timing, I was like, oh my God, this bitch has so many red flags. I don't know how we stay friends for so long, honestly, but that's here nor there. I just feel like, I was raised to take care of those that take care of you, and you never look at it to be old bag or anything like that, right? That's just community. I feel like bitches don't be wanting community for real. That's a problem. That's a problem. Like, if you got a friend that's keeping tabs on everything that you do, I don't think y'all should be friends anymore. How can you be friends with somebody that's making or taking notes on what they've done for you to throw it in your face like, oh, remember I did that? That's very weird, very toxic, very draining. Thank you all for tuning in to today's video. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And that concludes our video. I will see you on next week's video of Chats with T.